Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Carolyn. I'm a tarot reader, empath, and psychic. And on my channel, we talk a lot about energy vampires. And so I decided to do a video on 5 questions you can ask yourself to see if you're dealing with an energy vampire. Because I know that there's people in our lives that we don't really get along with, but that doesn't mean that they are an energy vampire. So with these 5 questions, it will help you determine if they are an energy vampire. So starting off, what is an energy vampire? An energy vampire is someone in your life who is using you to fill themselves up by draining your energy. Now, this can be someone who is extremely toxic for you, where they are purposely using you in order to accomplish some sort of goal for them. That could be anything from an actual career goal versus personal goals versus just making you held back with everything you do in life to make them feel like they're doing more things with theirs. But then there are some people where they are draining because they take up your time, they take up your day, they vent to you and they give you negativity and then they're not there for you. And some people aren't aware that they're an energy vampire. When that happens, sometimes you have people that are extremely lonely who just need someone to talk to and they don't realize the emotional toll it's taking on you. And so depending on what type of energy vampire you're dealing with, you're going to handle each situation differently. Some people you're going to have to completely cut them out. Other people you just need to start setting healthy boundaries. Tell them, hey, I can't hang out with you, where you limit your time with them, where you're not the sole person that they vent to, where they can go to other people and not just completely drain you. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, does this person make you happy? Now with all these questions, they're going to sound very basic, but I don't want you to just look and glance at these questions and be like yes or no. I want you to really sit and think and meditate on these questions. And so when we talk about do they make you happy, not can they make you happy, not can the potential version that you see in them make you happy, the present them with their current actions, is that making you happy? Are the things they're doing today that they're sharing with you, does that make you happy? Because it's so easy for us as humans to get caught up in the potential of someone and be like, well, they are going to make me happy when we finally do this. Especially for those in a relationship, it's so easy to say, oh, things are going to be great once we get married, once we move in together, XYZ. But you can't focus on that. With them today, when they call you, when they text you, when you meet up with them, do they make you happy with what they're saying? Are they considering your happiness? Because an energy vampire, they don't care about your happiness. They are always going to put themselves before you. And obviously as humans, we're all a little bit selfish. We're going to have some moments where we put ourselves before others. But this will be a constant pattern with them where they have never put you first. They have never considered your feelings. Their feelings always override yours. And so some of you guys, if you're in friend groups with these people, they're going to be the people that never care about where you want to go. They always want to tell you where you're going, when you're going, and all that stuff. Now, if someone just has like one of these traits, it doesn't make them an energy vampire. But if you ask yourself all these questions and they seem to be falling into some sort of pattern, then they probably are an energy vampire. But going back to, do they make you happy? Do they consider your feelings over theirs? Like when they make decisions in lives that is going to affect everyone, do they think about how it's going to affect you? Because we all have friends we care about. And so if we're doing something and we know it's going to affect them, we're going to check in with them. We're going to ask them how it feels. Because if you're dealing with an energy vampire, they're just going to tell you tough luck. Like they're not going to go and fix it to make you feel better. They're going to care about themselves and the fact that they feel good about it. And so when you ask yourself this question, I know it's not always going to be an easy answer to confront, because you're going to want to see the best in them. And that's why I said you can't base this on the potential of them, because the potential isn't real. You're in your present moment. And so they have to be making you happy in this moment, or else it doesn't matter what they can do, because that's just a potential. A potential is just another word for what if. And we have a million what ifs daily, but you wouldn't live your life based on them. So why are you allowing yourself to live in this friendship or relationship with this person based on a what if? And so you really have to be truthful with yourself and ask yourself if they are genuinely making you happy. And if the answer is no, then it's better to face it now than to keep pretending and just keep getting drained and depleted and tore down, because that's going to make you lower your self-esteem and feel worse about yourself, which you don't need to do. Just cut this person out of your life, or just set proper boundaries, but do what you got to do to protect yourself. The second question you need to ask yourself is, what are they using you for? Now, everything in life is an energy exchange. So you are always using someone and someone is always using you. But we're not always using people for bad things. Some people, if you're in a relationship, you're using each other for love and to build a family or a foundation together. So you can use people in good ways because you have a common goal. But an energy vampire is going to be using you and not wanting you to use them. And they are only using you for their own agenda, for their own goal. And so that's where it's important to figure out what this person is using you for. Because if they're using you for friendship and for love and all those good things, then that's great. You're not dealing with an energy vampire. Now, if someone is using you for mutual things and they happen to have like one or two selfish reasons, chances are they're not an energy vampire, because we all are selfish sometimes. So even your friends, you're going to use a little bit for your own personal agenda. Not in a bad way, because you're not only friends with them for that reason. And if they said no to you, you would move on with your life. You wouldn't use that against them. But an energy vampire, once you tell them no, they are going to get upset because that's their only purpose with you. So once you figure out what they're using them for, I want you to do an experiment in your own life. Whatever it is they're using you for, say no to them, see how they react to that. Because an energy vampire is not going to be happy with that, because they are using you for something. They're draining your energy to get to a certain goal of theirs. So if you say no to them, then they're either going to stop hanging around you, or they are going to get upset and cause conflict in your life. But definitely take note of people's reactions when you say the word no around them, because people who aren't energy vampires, they're not going to get upset with you. And so really monitor people's reactions in your life, and that's a little test you can do with everyone in your life, just to see if things are becoming too unbalanced, if you need to set proper boundaries. That's really going to give you a good indication of where you stand with that person and the foundation you're on, to see if you need to rebuild anything or if you should just like give up and walk away. So question number 3 kind of plays off of question number 2. And what I want you to ask yourself is, what are they giving back to you? How are they balancing this exchange of energy? Because like I was talking about, people who are good and healthy for you, you're working towards a mutual goal. There's something that you're giving to them, but they're giving back to you. So there's a mutual exchange of energy. An energy vampire is just going to be one-sided, where you're giving everything to them. So if someone's not giving anything back to you, then chances are they are an energy vampire. And so the way you can test if they're giving anything back to you is by mirroring whatever they are using you for. So if someone is using you to vent, try venting to them. If they blow you off or ignore you or reroute the conversation back to themselves, where they don't allow you any time to vent, or they make it very short where they give you 5 minutes, meanwhile they've been ranting about the same thing for 5 months, chances are they are an energy vampire, because they're not giving anything back to you. And then there's also more toxic energy vampires, where they are going to tear you down because they don't want you to do anything, because they don't want you to give energy to yourself. They want you to give all that energy to them. And so if you go to them and you say, hey, I have this great idea, what do you think about me doing this? They're going to tear you down, they're going to belittle you, they're going to make you feel bad for even thinking of it. They're going to tell you you can't do it and it's impossible. They're going to constantly be trying to keep you one step below them. And so if they're not doing anything for you, where they're not giving you any support, chances are they are an energy vampire. Because yes, like if we have ideas, obviously we're going to have some friends that do tell us when it's a bad idea. But with energy vampires, it will be every single idea you have. They will tell you it's bad or that it's dumb. They will keep tearing you down. And so that's one of the signs that you can tell someone is an energy vampire, because they're not giving you support. And that's a basic sign. For anything in life, we always give one another support. So if you're dealing with people who don't support you and aren't trying to support you, because there are some people where they don't know how to support, but they'll be making an effort. And that's where it goes back to number 1, where it's all about their actions. Do their actions make you happy? Are they actually changing their actions to make you happier? Because everyone deserves a chance, but if they're not trying to make you happy, if they don't consider your happiness, if they're not doing anything for you, then you don't need to be doing anything for them. Because everything with the universe, especially manifestation, it's all about matching energy. You put out a vibration and the universe matches you with it. So you'll get good things, but that's also why when you think about bad things, you'll manifest more bad things. And so with life, we shouldn't be giving all our energy to someone when they don't give it back to us, because then that makes us unbalanced, which is why you're feeling drained. So question number 4 is, if they weren't in your life, how would you feel? And so what this means is that if you and this person weren't friends, you weren't in a relationship, whatever it is, if they weren't in your life anymore, how would you feel? Now obviously if you care about them, you would be hurt somewhat. You're going to feel a little bit sad. But I want you to go past just those first emotions. Would you actually on some level feel relief? Would you feel like yourself again? Would you start feeling happier? Would you get your confidence back? Because if the answer is yes, chances are you are dealing with an energy vampire. Because an energy vampire wants to tear you down. They are draining you of your energy. They're not caring about you. And so whether you know it or not, it's going to feel like you have a weight on your shoulders, that you have this thing just following you around. Sometimes people feel like they have a dark cloud following them, and really it's this person or the people you have in your life because they're draining you. And so this question has two different parts to it. And so the first part of this question of what you would do if they weren't in your life is going to be with your feelings. It's going to be with your mental mind. And so definitely analyze how you would feel, but also analyze how you would feel about yourself, because that's what it really comes down to. And again, this is relating back to question 1 with your happiness. It's all about, do you feel better with them in your life or without them in your life? Because if you feel more like yourself, if you feel happier and better about yourself when they're not in your life, then you don't need that energy in your life. Regardless if they are an energy vampire or not, that's just someone you don't need to have. You don't need to spend time with people that you don't like, the people that make you feel negative emotions. You shouldn't sacrifice yourself just to keep someone in your life. Even if it's not necessarily your choice to have them in your life, you can definitely pull back. You can definitely set some boundaries and not interact with this person that much. And then the second part of this question is about physically with your time. What would you be doing if they weren't in your life? Because energy vampires, they take up time throughout our day. We have to spend it with them, or we spend it texting or calling them or doing things for them. And so if you weren't spending so much of your daily life doing things for them, what would you be doing with that time? Would you be spending more time with your family? Would you be spending more time with your career? Is there something that you have been wanting to start but haven't had the time? Or would you be using it to have more self-care time for yourself? Really see how much time they're eating away at your day and reprioritize things. Create a new schedule where you have more balance in your life, where you limit your time with them, where you give to yourself. This way you can fill up your own cup, and when you actually spend time with them, they're not going to drain you as much because you're going to have more to bounce back from. Because right now, you're drained so much by them that you're running on empty, and they keep taking and taking and taking. You don't have anything left to give. At least if you create boundaries in your life, you're going to have energy to give them. And this is more so for the energy vampires that aren't toxic. If you are dealing with toxic energy vampires, you need to cut them out. But if you're dealing with people who just don't know what the proper boundaries are, then just start setting them, start limiting your time with them. Because most people don't mind if you set healthy boundaries. So if you're dealing with people who aren't energy vampires, they're not going to be frustrated that you're setting boundaries. And then question number 5 is, do you think they are an energy vampire? Why are you watching this video? Do you feel deep down that they are one? Because if that's the case, if your intuition is telling you that someone is draining you and is an energy vampire, most of the time they are. And so really listen with yourself and ask yourself, why do you think they're an energy vampire? Really go through the reasons why you think they are and see if they're valid, or see if you're just annoyed by this person and so you're trying to say they are an energy vampire. Because our intuition is never wrong. So if you're letting your ego make you think that this person that you don't like is an energy vampire, they might not be. But most of the time, the reason why you would search this video is because deep down you feel like they're an energy vampire. There's something that caused you to feel that way, and so that is telling me that they have some sort of pattern that's not good for you. And even if they're not an energy vampire, I would really listen to your intuition and pull back from them and still set some boundaries, because there's a reason why your intuition thought they were. There's something not right with your dynamic, and so your ego can sometimes convince you of something that isn't true, but your intuition isn't ever going to guide you wrong. And my favorite way to tell the difference between intuition and emotion is that emotion is going to have emotions behind it. That's just what it is. Emotion attracts emotion. Whereas your intuition is going to feel like a fact, like a statement. Now you can have an emotion to this statement, but it's not going to feel like an opinion. It's going to feel like it's a fact. And so an example of it, ego and emotion is going to feel like saying peonies are the most beautiful flowers ever because they're pink. That would be ego and emotion if you happen to like the color pink, telling you that they're the most beautiful things ever because they are colors that you happen to like. Versus a fact would be peonies can be the color pink. There's no emotional attachment there, but that intuitional feeling can lead to different emotions, but the intuition itself won't be emotions. Versus the ego, which will only be emotions. So if your intuition is telling you someone is an energy vampire, or that they are going to become one, definitely take note of that. Look out for the red flags, watch the warning signs, and distance yourself from them. There's no shame in that. You don't have to be super close with everyone in your life. You can protect yourself. And if they're truly not an energy vampire, they're not going to mind that you're protecting yourself, you know? Because it's not like you go up to people and announce that you're protecting yourself from them. And so they're not ever gonna know, and you're not hurting them in any way. So there's nothing wrong with that. So just make sure that you're aware of everything, and you just stay in touch with yourself and your intuition, and don't feel like your intuition isn't valid, because if you're feeling some type of way about someone, chances are that is going to come to light eventually. It's just a matter of time. So I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you have any other topics that you want me to make videos on, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share with others, especially those who need this video. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I would love to have you guys a part of this family, and I'll see you all in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.